The new Supergirl movie trailer just dropped and everyone is talking about one character. I'm here to analyze every trailer frame and share all the Easter eggs, comic book references, and other details you likely missed. Thanks to my friends at Warner Brothers who let me see the trailer last Sunday, I only watched it twice. Making this video on time was helpful since I usually wait for the trailer to release. I work all day without stopping and usually finish by night, so I appreciate the change. What does this trailer reveal about the Supergirl movie? I'll explain now. The trailer opens with Krypto and Supergirl in Kara's room, apparently on a spaceship. From here, we can see some very interesting details. The first thing is that thanks to the newspaper on the floor, we can see that Supergirl is already a public figure on Earth dedicated to being a hero. Just like we saw in this scene from the second season of Peacemaker. Another interesting detail in this newspaper is that it says Superman is involved in bigger issues, like saving a city from a nuclear reactor, while Kara is stuck with small cases like rescuing kittens, which makes us understand that Supergirl, in a way, lives in her cousin's shadow and that there might be some resentment there. Another detail that tells us a lot about Kara's personality is the completely messy way she keeps her room, which contrasts a lot with Clark's room. This appears to be the trailer's main focus, to make us see that Supergirl and Superman are very different, even though they both come from Krypton and both have the same powers. Ask yourself, why does Supergirl only want to get drunk on her birthday? It's about two things, character development and that in this movie, she isn't shown as a heroine but as an anti-heroine. Unlike her cousin, the Boy Scout, Kara is more chaotic and often doesn't act as we expect a superhero to. Since, for example, she likes to go out drinking on planets with a red sun, this shows that Kara has certain characteristics. Characteristics. Do you know what a classic anti-hero is? Someone who challenges our idea of a hero? But not only that, Millie Alcock also said in an interview that Supergirl doesn't really want to be a heroine. However, in Woman of Tomorrow, the comic the movie is based on, Kara sees that the people around her need help and she can't help but give it to them. Traits seen in anti-heroes and reluctant people who avoid getting involved in others' affairs. If they witness injustice directly, they feel compelled to act. Why is she unlike her cousin? Let's just say that life has been much harder on her. That's because unlike Kal-El, who came to Earth as a baby, Kara spent a few years in the Kryptonian city of Argo, which floated in space for a while. And she saw how, little by little, her family and friends ceased to exist, without her being able to do anything to stop it. This gives her a more cynical, less optimistic outlook on life, reflected in her room. Or in the fact that the trailer tells us her plan to celebrate her birthday is to fly alone to a distant planet, where she can get drunk with the help of a red sun. Don't be mistaken, despite the chaos, she's as heroic as her cousin, though she endured and suffered more to become one. Hey, before we continue, do you want to go to a Superman event just for fans? This Saturday, December 13, I have an event at Cinedot, Azcapotzalco, Mexico City. We're meeting to watch James Gunn's Superman movie. We'll have a great combo. Large popcorn, large soda, and nachos. Afterwards, I'll give a talk about the history of the Man of Steel, and we'll finish with a meet and greet where we can chat, take pictures, and hang out with other Superman fans. We'll also bring these new channel t-shirts in case you're interested in getting one. The idea is that it's an afternoon where Superman fans can geek out comfortably. If you want to attend, tickets are available at the link in the video description. I like that the trailer's style closely matches the comic Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King and Pilkis, which the story is adapted from. So, there are several points in the trailer that we already know more or less where they're going because they're scenes that also appear in the comic, although there are some differences as well. In this scene, a space bus picks up Kara to take her and Krypto to a tavern where she'll celebrate her birthday alone. Why does she have to take a space bus instead of flying there? Is it because her plan is to go to a galaxy with a red sun, where she lacks powers, allowing her to get drunk, something her Kryptonian physiology normally prevents? In the comic, it's different because they don't show how Kara arrives at the tavern, she's simply already there. I love that they included the brown trench coat from the comic. Look at this detail. This is clearly the end of Krypton, something new for the Detective Comics universe. According to the comics, although Krypton is destroyed, Argo, Kara's city, survives. Originally, the comics explained that this was because an air bubble traveled with that piece of land. But here it will probably be thanks to this dome, which was likely built by the scientist Zor-El, who is Superman's uncle and Kara's father. Because something very important in Supergirl's story is that she actually knew her parents for a longer time and fought alongside them to keep the city of Argo alive in space. In the comics, the ground became kryptonite, so they covered it with with lead, but eventually everyone was poisoned by the radiation. Ultimately, Zor-El had to send his daughter Kara to Earth in a rocket like Kal-El's to save her. This is the original story from the 50s, which was expanded and reinterpreted in the comic Woman of Tomorrow. But we still don't know if that's what they'll use in the Supergirl movie. Because maybe Argo doesn't die due to kryptonite radiation, but maybe they'll go for a more realistic approach. Argo may have faced food shortages, riots, or other conflicts caused by scarcity. In my view, this would give the movie the same political tone and relevance as James Gunn's Superman. Would you like something like that? Let me know in the comments. Another character we can see in several scenes of the trailer is the one played by actress Eve Riley, who plays Ruthie. She is a key character in this story, as the entire plot and conflict center on her. The story begins when a criminal known as Krem from the Yellow Hills kills Ruthie's father, and she starts looking for a bounty hunter to help her with her revenge, which leads her to this tavern where Supergirl is also present. Unfortunately, things don't go Ruthie's way. The first bounty hunter she tries to hire steals her sword. So Supergirl, in a slightly intoxicated state and despite not having powers, stops the bounty hunter, subdues him, and returns Ruthie's sword to her. This is when they both meet and things start to get complicated for both of them, since Ruthie tries to recruit Kara to help her with her revenge. She clearly doesn't accept, but before Supergirl can return to Earth, the bounty hunter from the tavern and Krem of the Yellow Hills find them. They shoot Kara, they shoot Krypto with a poisoned arrow, scenes that we can also see in the trailer. Krem ends up stealing Kara's ship, so now she and Ruthie will have to travel through space to find Krem and get the antidote to save Krypto. That's why the trailer shows Kara's power levels fluctuating in several scenes. There are scenes where we see her being cautious with lasers, even though under normal circumstances she wouldn't worry about them, and others where we see her fighting hand-to-hand against someone who doesn't have super strength. Others where she can't fly. And in the other where life... Director Craig Gillespie confirmed in an interview that Supergirl won't always appear at full power in this movie. But depending on how close or far she is from a red or yellow sun, her power levels will change. Also, the way she fights will, according to the director, influence the camera movement. And, well, who will be the villains of this movie in the comic Woman of Tomorrow? The central antagonist is a mercenary named Krem from the Yellow Hills who only appears in this comic. Even without the cultural impact of characters like Brainiac or Lex Luthor, he's a great antagonist. You hate him from the very first panels. Not only for what he does to Krypto and Ruthie's father, but also for his arrogance, disregard for life and dignity, and many other actions in the comic. I didn't get to that point, but he does remind me a bit of Jeffrey Baratheon. I mean, you hate him, you despise him. And if the actor manages to capture this, he can become a villain. We also have the Brigands, who we also see in the trailer, who are like a group of space pirates that go from planet to planet, looting resources and devastating entire communities. At first, Krem isn't part of the Brigands, but he joins them later in the comic, making them antagonists as well. For Supergirl, the concept and design remind me of the Ravagers from Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Brigands are even more aggressive and violent. They're clearly no match for Supergirl when she's powered. Is that why they included the character Lobo? Do we see Lobo in the trailer for the Supergirl movie? Who is this character and why does he have so many fans? Is it the Lobo played by Jason Momoa? He originates from 90s comics where writer Keith Giffen reinvented him as a parody of the era's violent popular characters like Punisher and Wolverine. People didn't see him as a parody and loved the character for his excess. Violence, rebelliousness, and tough, funny lines perfectly captured what audiences wanted then. Even his origin is a parody as he's the last of his kind. Not because of a catastrophe like Krypton, but because he himself wiped everyone out to be the last Zarnian. This makes me think the movie will use this detail to highlight how different Lobo is from Supergirl, who truly lost her people. He's a bounty hunter with super strength, able to fight Superman. And he even has regenerative powers so strong that they rival Deadpool's, since he was once able to regenerate himself from just a puddle of blood. Lobo isn't in the original Woman of Tomorrow comic the movie is based on. But they probably introduced the character into this story to give Kara a very powerful and physical enemy to face. Neither Krem from the Yellow Hills nor the Brigands, the film's other antagonists, could challenge her like this. How will they fit him into the story? Lobo might be the leader of the Brigands, the space pirates shown in the trailer, or the Brigands could have hired him to fight Supergirl for his role in their final battle, which I also suspect we've already seen in the trailer, since when Lobo has a contract, he doesn't stop at anything to complete it. What is true is that he's an extremely popular character among comic book fans. He'll likely be discussed a lot in the coming months. Personally, I'm glad they included him in the movie. I think the story did need a bigger villain, someone more well-known, more significant, but I also feel like he'll mostly be there for these action scenes. If all goes well, Krem from the Yellow Hills will still be my main antagonist, right? But, well, we'll see what happens for now. I'm really happy with this teaser because I feel like they're really basing it a lot on the comic. Woman of Tomorrow is a story I love that showcases a unique version of Supergirl. One that feels real, unique, and imperfect. One that tells us about a character who has suffered a lot, who is somewhat broken, and who struggles to stay emotionally afloat. But when he sees an injustice, he can't help but act heroically to correct it. This is a character very different from Superman, wilder, but at some point she proves to be as heroic as her cousin. So I can't wait for June 26th to see her in theaters. Now tell me in the comments, what did you think of this first look? Remember, if you want to watch the Superman movie with me and listen to my talk about the story of the Man of Steel, you can get your tickets directly from the link I left in the video description. Remember to subscribe for more Supergirl videos. I'll analyze each trailer as it's released. That's all for today. I'm Go the Geek Monitor, and do you keep watching Beyond the Seer?